Why is it that the harder you chase a woman, the faster she runs? Why is it that the nicer you are, the less she respects you? Why is it that you give her everything, and she still chooses the guy who gives her nothing? Be honest. How many times have you been ghosted after what felt like the perfect date? How many times have you heard, "You're such a nice guy," right before she sleeps with someone else? How many times have you asked yourself, "What the hell is wrong with me?" Yesterday, I saw it happen right in front of me. At a coffee shop, a guy, young, good-looking, well-dressed, sat across from a girl. For 47 minutes, I counted, he tried everything. Compliments, jokes, stories, approval, and for 47 minutes, he failed. Invisible, powerless, forgotten. And here's the brutal truth. That guy is you. That guy is 98% of men. Men who think they're doing everything right, but are actually sabotaging themselves. Men who follow the rules society taught them, only to get punished for it. Men who believe effort equals attraction, when in reality, the harder you try, the faster you lose. If this feels uncomfortable, good, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to rip apart the program running inside your head. And once you see it, you'll understand exactly why women don't notice you, and how to finally break free from the cycle that's been destroying you for years. You've been lied to since the day you were a boy. Nobody meant to hurt you, but the messages stacked up until they rewired your brain. Be nice to girls. Always be respectful. A good man provides. A good man sacrifices. A good man does whatever it takes. Your mother said it. Your teachers said it. Movies repeated it. And society drilled it into your head like gospel. Over time, it became automatic. You never questioned it. You never asked whether those rules actually worked in the real world of attraction. And so, you grew up programmed with what I call the good boy protocol. Here's what the good boy protocol tells you. If you're kind, if you're consistent, if you show women your best behavior, they'll eventually reward you with love. It sounds logical. It sounds moral. It sounds safe. But it is a complete disaster when it comes to attraction. Because attraction is not logical. Attraction does not follow the rules of politeness. Attraction is emotional. It's primal. It's irrational. And when you bring a logical strategy into an emotional game, you lose every single time. That's why you can do everything right and still end up invisible. Think about the last time you thought you had chemistry with a woman. You listened. You complimented. You texted back fast. You opened doors. You played the role of the perfect gentleman. For a while, you felt like she was responding. Then, out of nowhere, she went cold. The texts slowed down. The energy dropped. And soon, she ghosted you. You sat there staring at your phone, confused and frustrated, asking, "What happened?" The answer is simple. You were running the good boy protocol, and she detected it instantly. Women have been decoding male behavior since they were teenagers. They can spot neediness faster than a shark smells blood in the water. Here's the brutal truth. The more you want a woman to like you, the less she does. It feels cruel, but it's not personal. It's simply the way attraction works. It's inverse mathematics. The harder you try, the faster you fail. That's why so many men feel stuck in the same cycle. They keep adding more effort, thinking that will change the outcome, when in reality, every extra ounce of effort only speeds up the rejection. You are basically running Windows software on a Mac. No matter how shiny the program looks, it just won't work. I remember when I was younger, standing in the corner of a party while my friend Alex, broke, average-looking, wearing clothes that looked stolen from a thrift store, was surrounded by women, 3 of them competing for his attention, while I stood there with my perfect shirt and perfect manners, completely invisible. That night, I realized something was broken. Women didn't care about my resume. They didn't care about my clean presentation or my polite jokes. They cared about something else, something deeper, something emotional. And I didn't have it, because the good boy protocol had stripped it out of me. The protocol taught me to avoid tension at all costs. If a woman looked uncomfortable, I made a joke to ease the silence. If she challenged me, I agreed to keep the peace. If she tested me, I folded instantly, desperate to keep her happy. And with every move, I thought I was scoring points. In reality, I was killing attraction, because comfort is the enemy of excitement. Attraction thrives on polarity, the push and pull, the uncertainty, the emotional spark. Without it, everything feels flat, and flat is forgettable. When was the last time you got excited about something predictable? When was the last time you stayed glued to a movie with no conflict, no drama, no tension? Human beings are wired to crave emotional highs and lows, especially in relationships. Women in particular need that stimulation to feel desire. And yet most men show up like an instruction manual. Page 1, I like you. Page 2, I'll do anything for you. Page 3, please pick me. The end. Boring. Now here's where a lot of men go off track. They think, okay, if nice doesn't work, then I'll become the opposite. I'll be mean. I'll be arrogant. I'll treat her badly because that's what bad boys do. Wrong. That's not the answer either. Women don't actually like bad boys. What they like are men who live in their own frame, who have their own life, who don't collapse the second a pretty woman smiles at them. The so-called bad boy just happens to have these qualities because he doesn't care. But you can have them too, without being toxic, without being cruel, and without pretending. That's the ultimate combination. Strong, independent, self-sufficient, yet still a good man. The good boy protocol robs you of that strength. It turns you into a golden retriever when what women are wired to want is a wolf. Not a rabid wolf, not an aggressive wolf. A wolf who can stand on his own, who isn't begging for approval, who doesn't chase scraps of attention. Independent, unpredictable, confident. When you become that man, attraction flips instantly. The same woman who ignored you before now can't stop thinking about you. Not because you learned some pickup line, but because you stopped running the wrong program. Let's dig deeper into why this happens. Attraction isn't about addition. It's not about piling on more compliments, more dates, more attention. That only devalues you. When you make yourself infinitely available, you make yourself worthless. It's basic economics. Supply and demand. If your attention is unlimited, her desire becomes zero. Real attraction is about subtraction. Subtract your availability. Subtract your predictability. Subtract your neediness. Create space. That empty space is where desire grows. Imagine your phone right now. If someone texts you every hour, instantly, every single day, how much do you value their attention? Almost none, because you know they'll always be there. But if someone texts you unpredictably, sometimes showing up, sometimes disappearing, suddenly you check your phone more often. You wonder what they're doing. They occupy space in your mind. That's what you need to become for women. The man who lives a full life and whose attention is valuable because it's not handed out like candy. Most men won't get this. They'll hear it, nod, even write it down. But the next time they meet a pretty woman, the program will take over. They'll slip right back into good boy protocol. It's automatic. That's why breaking free isn't just about understanding. It's about rewiring. It's about practice. It's about failing until the new behaviors stick. When I first tried this, I messed up constantly. I overcorrected. I went from too nice to too cold, from too available to completely absent, from too agreeable to unnecessarily combative. It took me hundreds of interactions to find balance. But here's the surprising part. Even my failures got me better results than my old successes. Women were more interested in the flawed, authentic version of me than in the polished, scripted version. The good boy protocol teaches you to worship women. Put them on pedestals. Treat them like goddesses. But here's the problem. When you put someone on a pedestal, you force them to look down on you. That's not romance. That's inequality. And women cannot feel attraction without respect. It's not their choice. It's biology. Worship destroys respect. And once respect is gone, desire dies with it. That's why the first step in breaking free is brutal honesty. You have to admit that the program is running you. You have to admit that all your politeness, all your effort, all your good guy moves are not creating attraction. They're suffocating it. Until you face that, nothing changes. But once you do, everything begins to shift. If this already hit you, make sure you subscribe right now, because what's coming next is even harder to hear. I'll reveal the hidden force that kills attraction faster than anything else. Miss it, and you'll keep repeating the same cycle forever. Here's the part nobody ever told you. Attraction doesn't live in comfort. It lives in tension. Every interaction with a woman is filled with what I call polarity points. These are moments where the energy shifts, where you can either spark attraction or kill it instantly. Most men, programmed by the good boy protocol, destroy these moments without even realizing it. Picture this. A woman gives you a sly look that makes you feel nervous. What do? You crack a joke to ease the tension. She challenges your opinion. You backpedal and agree with her just to avoid conflict. She tests your confidence. You fold instantly because you want her approval. Every single time you do this, you think you're winning points. You think you're making her comfortable. But what you're really doing is making yourself forgettable. Because here's the truth. Comfortable is the enemy of attraction. When was the last time you were obsessed with something predictable? When was the last time a safe, easy, conflict-free story glued you to the edge of your seat? Never. Humans are wired for drama, for conflict, for emotional roller coasters. Women especially crave that spark, that push and pull, that feeling of not knowing exactly what's going to happen next. It's not chaos. It's not cruelty. It's tension. And tension is the heartbeat of desire. Most men show up like a manual. Page 1. I like you. Page 2. I'll do anything for you. Page 3. Please pick me. The end. No conflict. No unpredictability. No tension. That's why you're boring. That's why you disappear in her memory the second you walk away. You're giving her a story with no plot. Now let me make something clear. I'm not telling you to become a jerk. I'm not telling you to argue for the sake of arguing or to be mean just to stand out. That's what clueless men think. They see women chasing bad boys and assume women love toxicity. Wrong. Women don't love bad boys. Women love men who live in their own reality. Men who don't bend at the first sign of pressure. Men who aren't desperate for validation. The so-called bad boy just happens to embody these traits because he doesn't care. He's detached. He's focused on himself. And women feel that. But here's the good news. You can have those exact same traits without being an asshole. You can be independent, unpredictable, and confident while still being kind, respectful, and genuine. That's the sweet spot. That's what makes you unstoppable. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you match with a stunning woman online. Your instinct tells you to be clever, to show off, to prove you're different. So you craft a witty opener, carefully designed to impress her. But here's the problem. You've already lost, because your entire strategy is based on her reaction. You're performing. You're auditioning. You're not being real. And women sense it instantly. The smarter move? Write what amuses you. Write what you'd say if she was average looking. Write like you have 10 other matches, and this is just one more conversation. That energy, non-neediness, self-amusement, authenticity, that's what cuts through the noise. That's what makes her pause and think, wait, this one feels different. But here's the trap most men fall into. Even after they hear this, they try to fake it. They pretend they don't care while desperately waiting for her reply. They act confident on the outside while shaking inside. They try to wear the mask of alpha while living with the heart of beta. And women? They see right through it. Women have been decoding male behavior since they were 15. They've seen every trick, every line, every strategy. Their authenticity radar is sharper than a polygraph. You can't trick it. You can't fake it. You have to become it. I'll give you a story. A few years ago, I met this gorgeous woman. The kind that makes you rearrange your whole day just to maybe run into her. We started talking. The conversation flowed. And then she said something I completely disagreed with. The old me would have smiled, nodded, and kept quiet. The new me didn't. I looked her in the eye and said, "That's the dumbest thing I've heard today. And I talked to my neighbor this morning who thinks birds are government spies." She stared at me, shocked for a second. Then she laughed. Then she leaned in, more interested than before. Why? Because I was the first man in months who didn't worship her words. I treated her like a real human being instead of a goddess on a pedestal. That pedestal is another silent killer. Men think putting a woman above them will make her feel special. In reality, it makes her look down on you. Respect can't flow upward when you're kneeling. Worship destroys equality, and without equality, attraction's it. A woman cannot respect a man who treats her as flawless. And without respect, desire is impossible. It's biology. Now let's talk about the biggest trap of all, the friend zone. Every man fears it, but most don't understand why it exists. The friend zone isn't a prison she throws you in randomly. It's a place you walk into yourself by acting like a friend when you want to be a lover. You think being agreeable, available, and safe will earn her heart. Instead, it earns you a title, emotional support pet. She confides in you. She leans on you. But she will never crave you. Why? Because you've hidden your true intention from the start. You pretended you weren't attracted when you were. You lied with your behavior, hoping for a reward later. But attraction doesn't work that way. By the time you confess, it's already over. I knew a guy like this. Let's call him Mike. Mike had a pattern. Every time he liked a woman, He became her friend. He listened to her problems. He gave her rides. He showed up at her call. For months, he played the role of the perfect companion, never making a move, never flirting, never showing an ounce of masculine energy. Then one day, he'd confess his feelings, and every time, he got crushed. "I don't see you that way. You're like a brother to me. You're such a nice guy." Mike was devastated, confused, and bitter. But the truth was simple. He never gave her a reason to desire him. He wasn't romantic. He wasn't bold. He wasn't sexual. He was safe. And safe is boring. The solution isn't to stop being nice. The solution is to stop leading with nice. Lead with your masculine energy. Lead with authenticity. Lead with confidence. Then add kindness as seasoning, not as the main dish. Be sexual without being creepy. Be confident without being arrogant. Be playful without being reckless. It's a balance, yes, but it's a balance you can learn. And here's the crazy part. The moment you stop trying to perform, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop begging for validation, everything shifts. Women lean in. They test you harder because now you feel real. They respect you more because you have boundaries. They desire you more because you're no longer predictable. You're no longer running the good boy protocol. You've stepped into your own frame, and once you're there, you'll never go back. Here's the secret most men never learn. The goal is not to act like a man who doesn't need validation. The goal is to actually become him. Pretending doesn't work. Women sense pretense instantly. They see through the fake confidence, the borrowed lines, the fragile masks. If you're desperate on the inside, no amount of surface-level tricks will hide it. You have to build yourself from the ground up until you genuinely don't need their approval. How do you get there? By creating a life so full that women are not the center of it. Build hobbies that light you up. Chase goals that push you forward. Surround yourself with friends who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who won't let you settle. Develop standards that mean something to you. When your life is already rich and exciting, women become an addition, not the foundation. They become the cherry on top, not the whole sundae. And here's why this matters. Most men use women like emotional band-aids. They chase validation because deep down they feel empty. They hope her attention will fill the void. But that's too much pressure for any woman. She can feel the weight of it instantly. And the second she realizes you're leaning on her for your self-worth, she runs. Not because she's cruel, but because she knows she can't carry that responsibility for you. Contrast that with the men who are naturally good with women. They're not always the best looking. They're not always the richest. But they all share one trait. They'd be fine without women. Their careers, their passions, their friendships, their sense of purpose, all of it makes them magnetic. Women don't complete them. Women complement them. That's the difference between desperation and abundance. One repels, the other attracts. Now let's talk about the approach. Most men approach women like they're applying for a job. Please pick me. Here are my qualifications. I hope I'm good enough. Wrong energy. That energy screams insecurity. The smarter approach is this. You are the opportunity. You are the prize. You are a man with a life so full that she would be lucky to be a part of it. That doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean narcissism. It means knowing your worth and standing in it without apology. Because if you don't believe your time is valuable, why should she? Here's a shift that changed everything for me. Stop thinking about getting women. Start thinking about selecting women. You're not trying to convince every woman to like you. You're filtering for the ones who deserve you. You're choosing, not chasing. When you flip that switch, rejection stops feeling like failure. It feels like clarity. She's not interested? Perfect. She just saved you time. She removed herself from your path. That's not loss, it's efficiency. For years, I wasted energy performing, convincing, exhausting myself trying to get approval. Then I switched to selecting. I asked, does she bring more than looks? Is she kind? Is she interesting? Is she compatible with my vision? Suddenly, I was the one with standards. Suddenly, I was the prize. Suddenly, everything shifted. But here's the part most men won't tell you. This shift is lonely at first. When you stop being the people pleaser, when you stop handing out attention like free candy, you lose people. Women who thrived on your free validation vanish. Friends who liked you being the doormat get confused. Even family might say you've changed. And they're right. You have. But good. Let them go. Let them talk. On the other side of that loneliness is freedom. On the other side is real connection. Women who want you for who you are, not for what you give them. You know the saddest thing I see? Men in their 40s, even 50s, still running the same program they learned at 15. Still chasing, still begging, still confused, still stuck in the good boy protocol. Don't be that man. Don't waste decades repeating the same cycle. Change now. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's scary. But staying the same is far scarier. Waking up old and full of regret is scarier. Dying without ever experiencing real attraction is scarier. The truth is simple, but not easy. Simple because the principles are clear. Not easy because it requires rewiring decades of habits. Not easy because it means facing rejection again and again. Not easy because it requires you to become someone new, while everyone around you pressures you to stay the same. But here's my promise. If you do this work, if you rewire, if you practice, if you let go of desperation, your entire life will shift. Not just with women, but everywhere. The confidence that comes from not needing validation. The power that comes from having standards. The freedom that comes from being authentic. These things will transform every area of your existence. So here's your assignment. And 98% of you will ignore it, which is exactly why 98% of men will stay stuck where they are. For the next 30 days, practice one thing: caring less about outcomes. Approach women with zero attachment to the result. Text with zero neediness. Date with zero desperation. Stop performing. Start being present. Start being authentic. Start being self-amused. That's it. That's the secret. Not tricks, not lines, not games. Just the courage to be yourself, for yourself, by yourself, and letting women choose to join your world instead of you begging to enter theirs. Listen carefully. Everything you've been taught is wrong. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're frustrated. That's why you're invisible. But now you know the truth. The only question is, what are you going to do with it? Will you keep pressing the same buttons that never worked? Or will you finally take the risk and press the one that leads to change? This is your red button or blue button moment. Comfort or growth. Same results or new possibilities. You already know what you should choose. You knew it the second you heard these words. The only thing left is when you'll stop lying to yourself and actually do it. That's all I have for you today. Take it or leave it. Use it or ignore it. But don't ever say no one told you the truth, because I just did. The rest is up to you. That's all I have for you today. Take it or leave it. Use it or ignore it. But don't ever say no one told you the truth, because I just did. The rest is up to you. And listen, if this hit you, don't just walk away. Hit subscribe right now so you don't miss the next time I drop. The truth men need to hear, but nobody dares to say. Drop a comment below and tell me, when was the moment you realized the good boy protocol was running your life? I want to hear your story, because your story might be the one that wakes up another man. This is more than a video. This is a movement. You've been given the red button. Now press it.